There we go. All right, welcome. I'm so excited. This is Relationship Reset, and we are this month we're talking about insider secrets, 3 things that they wish you knew, meaning they, your spouse, right? So we're really focusing on our spouses this month so that we can learn a little bit more what we can do to make our marriage, boost our marriage to that next level. I am so excited this time to welcome Asaki, and I am not going to attempt his last name because I don't want to say it wrong. And he's an awesome guy, and I have interacted with him at various events, and I've just always been impressed with his enthusiasm, his knowledge, and his intuitive nature that he has. And so I'm excited to have him. He's really, really fun too. And I just want to say, so his business has been energy mentoring, right? Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I wanted to say that right. But now he's changed it just recently to Grit Set Consulting. And he is really focusing in on helping businesses and helping that productivity of the business and, you know, the people there that are in that business. And then he is very passionate about helping fathers to be the best that they can. And so those 2 kinds of people is who he really wants to help. So if you match that, then awesome, he's your guy. He's super powerful. He has a lot to share and to help you with. I would recommend, you sign your husband up for, his course. So he is going to talk to us about some 3 tips that he has for what he feels like will make a huge difference for you. And he mentioned that he's going to share with us a little secret that will help you in an argument, right?
Yep.
I'm excited to hear that. So, all right, we are going to turn the time over to Asaki so that he can share those things with us. And I would just want to set the groundwork that this is going to be interactive. If you have a question or something that you would like to ask, feel free to type it in the chat, and we will get to it as soon as we can, so that you know that we are here to interact with you. It's not like hey, we are, I'm just going to talk and you're not going to talk, okay? You can even unmute yourself when it's time. So keep those questions, type them in so that you don't forget them, and we'll get to them when we get there. All right, go ahead.
All right. I shared on Facebook that, there's a car that travels from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in about 3 seconds. And I want to share with you a tip that's going to help you take your arguments from 100 kilometers per hour down to 0 in about the 3 seconds. But before that, I just want to give some background reality, what's really happening in my life right now. My wife is currently going through a so-called miscarriage, to the point that, the doctors are saying, hey, you got to do this to complete the whole miscarriage, because she's been, just going through a lot of different things. I'm not going to give a lot of information there. And so she went to the hospital at the beginning of the week, and the doctor said, hey, let's just complete the process. But she had a dream that there was just this little tiny dude. She said it looked like me, so I don't know. I was just fighting. And so this week the doctor said, you know what, we're going to have you go home and just get bed rest. Don't do anything at all. Just stay bed rest, and we'll come back on Monday and test things out. So this week I've just been working with the kids, doing the laundry, doing everything, looking after my wife, because, that 1 in a million chance for that little dude or a little girl, whichever that may be, we're giving it that. And so that's what's happening in my life right now. Just going to be upfront with it. Now, back to that 3 seconds. Okay. You guys are probably wondering, what is the secret? What's this, maybe elixir of life to help with the arguments? I want to share with you a quick story. The clients I work with, they come from all over the world. And so there's this couple, taught them the things I'm going to be sharing with you today. And they went home. Okay, the lady went home. The lady was the one taking the mentoring, not the husband. And she came back the week after and said, you know what, Isaka, this week has been the hardest week of my life. So I was kind of curious. Okay, what happened? She said, halfway through the week, my husband and I talked, and we decided to go through a divorce. Like, oh man, so sorry. I said, no, it's okay, because something you shared with me last week helped me stay firm. And I was surprised that I didn't emotionally react. I was just kind of firm and confident of myself, because I knew it was up and down. But one thing you shared really made a difference. It was that tool. And so I'm going to share this tool with you. Now, you guys have probably heard of this tool before, but I want to share with you that, knowing about something and doing it, two different things, okay? And so my intention is that as I share this with you, you will take it to heart and apply it in your life. I actually use it on a weekly basis, okay? Yeah, weekly basis. And so my time in arguments with my wife, it's gone from, in the past, it'll take a couple of days because I like to play the silent card, like, oh, I'll be quiet, but it's gone to the point where it's down to minutes, I just own up to it and get over it and realize, like, wow, so much for trying to hold on to things and think like, oh, this is my pride, I got to hold on. No, there's nothing to that, okay? So here's that tool. You may want to have your pen and paper handy. I'm going to do a little brief on, right, pen and paper. That's my favorite tools there. And so this is from Hawaii. You guys may have heard about this before. And back then, there's this little hospital where a lot of mental patients came, a lot of criminals that, doing a lot of messy stuff. And for the longest while, they wouldn't be able to keep the staff there, even the medical staff, the assistants, because there was just so much drama. It was just the worst situations. And then they asked this guy here, this doctor, to go in there. And he said, I will go there on one condition. Number one, I won't see the patients. And number two, I'm going to be in my little office. And so they said, yeah, go ahead. So he went there, sat in his little office. All he did was ask for the files of the patients. So he'd get the files of the patients, and then he'd look at it, muttering a few things, and then ask for another file. And he did this for a little while. And what happened was that in a matter of a couple of weeks or months, things started changing. They noticed that the patients started changing. And they no longer had to lock them up. They no longer had to put them in confinement. And before long, they had to close that ward down because everyone left, in the sense that everyone was left healed. The name of this doctor is Dr. Hugh Lin. The name of this tool is called Ho'oponopono. Okay, it's the Hawaiian forgiveness. I call it the Hawaiian forgiveness technique. And so, keeping it really brief, here are the 4 words. I want you to write this down, okay? Number 1, I love you. Number 2, I'm sorry. Number 3, please forgive me. Number 4, thank you, okay? So it's like, I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And so that's what Dr. Hugh Lin did. He just sat there at the files and looked at everything there, and he kept saying, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. And the way he took it was that it wasn't his fault that they were like that, but he took responsibility. So he was trying to heal himself based on all those things there, okay? And so does it work? Well, they closed down that, so-called mental ward. And that lady that I shared, that was going through that divorce, the split in the middle of the week, that is that one thing that kept her steady. Because it helps get the emotions out of the way. A lot of blocks that happen in our life, I call them emotional illusions, okay? They're not real. I can't, it's your fault, I can't afford this, can't do this, blah, blah, blah. It's just a whole lot of negative stuff, okay? But when you get the emotions out of the way, you can see the issue for what it is. And in the matter of, personal relationships with your spouse, this is a powerful tool. I've used it, like I said, weekly. And the moment I start getting into this disagreement with my wife, I just whip it out. Okay. And it takes me 3 seconds. All I say is, I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And boom, I drop my guard. I drop my armor of trying to protect myself and, defend myself. No, there's no defending. The arguments are going to happen, but what you heal is your side of the bridge to the island of the relationship. Okay. And that's what you want to heal. And so it's, I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. If you have it as a mantra, saying it over and over and over again when situations come up, watch what happens to emotions. All of a sudden, it just starts to drop. And you're like, oh, wow, I'm pretty cool. If someone's angry at you, that's their side, we allow them to be. But from your side, you want to make sure your conduit is clear.
Can I ask a question real quick?
Sure, yeah, go ahead, Julie.
Do you say anything else with it? Like, I'm sorry for something, or you just say those words?
Personally, I just say those words. There's so much power in the words, especially that first word, first words there, I love you. Oh, boom. Because so often, if we're in an argument, the last thing you want to say is like, I love you. Like, no, I deserve to feel like this. But the I love you just softens everything up. And my wife, man, she can attest to it. Like, yeah, Isaaca's argument, disagreement has gone from a couple of days down to a few minutes. In 9 years. It took me 9 years. And so I want to help you guys out there and save yourself some time, you know. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. It is so powerful. I will give a warning, though. Be aware that some of the things will show up, okay? Just from your feelings that you want to get released. But those are the 4 words. And I will share this with you. These 4 words I don't just share with energy healers. I share this with businessmen and businesswomen too. It doesn't matter. The success in your business depends on the extent of your personal relationships. As much as you try to divide it, those 2 are connected. Okay, so that's the first tool. Now, the second tool I want to share with you. Okay, got some volunteers here. This probably looks familiar. I've been spending a lot of time in the kitchen this week. I actually washed and dried this, see, nice and clean. Yeah, I love the dishwasher. You know, this is a dishwasher. Okay. So in your relationships, you know, when you first married, there's all the honeymoon, the lovey-dovey, and just, you know, whatnot. As it gets going further and further and further, all of a sudden there may be some distance or things may happen. This here, there's a plate, but I invite you to look at this as something that will happen on a regular basis. Every time, you know, your relationships goes to the next level, this will happen, okay? Imagine this is like a glass ceiling, okay? Glass ceiling in your relationships. Can you see right through it? Absolutely. You can say, oh, here's the future, here's eternity. Like, yes, we're going to go do this and have grandkids and whatnot. So you see right through, okay? And so I have another volunteer. So imagine this is you, this cute little puppy here, okay? So what's going to happen is, as soon as you know, things are going well, you're going to bump up against it. Bump up against it, it's going to push you down, okay? It's trying to push you down. And what this looks like are just when everything's going well, just maybe you sold your house, maybe you just got a pay raise, all of a sudden negative stuff starts to happen. It's this, okay? And one of the things I share with my clients to remember is when you are aware of negative things, they start to lose strength. When you're aware of positive things, they start to gain strength. So keep that in mind, write that somewhere, because as you're going throughout this year, these things will be more evident, okay? So think about this glass ceiling as that, okay? These here will happen on a regular basis. But if you are aware of it and understand that that's going to happen and understand that maybe the arguments are this, it starts to lose strength almost immediately. It is powerful. Because too often, you know, we try to do something, we get a pay raise, and this happens, and, you know, we say, oh, yeah, maybe just not meant to be. Maybe we shouldn't have bought that. Oh, why did you take that? Why did you apply for that job? This. No. See it for what it is. It's a glass ceiling. Just move it and move on up. There's another glass ceiling.
So how do you move it?
Yeah, go ahead. Do it.
What do you do to move it?
Number one is your awareness that it's even there. Okay? And the things to do is nothing big. It's just being aware, okay, the glass ceiling is there. I'm aware this is what it's doing. And just the fact that you're aware of it and say, okay, it's just a glass ceiling, it's temporary. It loses strength almost immediately. The challenge is most of us don't even realize it's there. And we call it, oh, it's destiny that I shouldn't be doing this. Oh, it's just not meant to be. No, it's this. It's just glass plate, glass ceiling, whatever you call it. And notice that this is kind of like a gate. Whenever you get to the next level, there's a gate there, okay? And too often, people see the gate that's closed and say like, oh, it's just not meant to be. I guess I'll just go the other way. No. The secret is the gate is not locked. All you got to do is just push against it and then keep moving forward. You know? And so it's
that
awareness there. Yeah,
awareness of it and then changing it to positive, or what?
Number one is that awareness. Okay, awareness. It's just going to do that. And number two, just push right through it. Case in point, last week, I got really sick. I couldn't even get on my calls. And my wife said, hey, just calm down and just be, you know, just take the day off. And as soon as he said, I realized like, oh, wait a minute, this is the next level gate here. I'm going through some of this. So what happened? I get on my calls, and as soon as I had to cough or just do stuff, I just put it on mute and got back on the call. As soon as I got on the call, I went outside, got my feet on the grass, and started jumping rope. Why? Because I knew exactly what was happening. And what happened is that within 3 days, it was gone. And as I realized, like, hey, what is this for? It's because, my wife was going through some challenges this week. If I had just kind of fallen away last week and thought, okay, woe be me, I just got to get some, something going on, I wouldn't be able to help my wife this week. Okay. So awareness, the glass ceilings will show up, whether in relationships, whether in business, anything you do. See it for what it is. Because when you're aware of negative things, they start to lose strength. Okay. So first thing there is with the Ho'oponopono, with the mantra, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. And number 2 is being aware of that glass ceiling. It is powerful, just that simple awareness. And then the last thing I wanted to share is, every single day we are doing things. It's almost automatic. We get up, make the bed, dinner, whatever. It's almost automatic. What I want to ask you, and what I invite you to ask yourself is, what is your routine on a daily basis? How are you feeding yourself? Earlier yesterday, I was on a call with a client, and she's in her 50s. And she mentioned that for the longest time, she's been caring about everyone else. She's a successful business. It's growing. And this is what she said. Aisaki, I'm just caring for everyone, but no one's caring for me. And so I was kind of curious, like, okay, so tell me about that. And she said, whenever something would show up, she'll be the first person there, or the first person to raise her hand to let people know, hey, this is what you could do differently. And they say, thank you so much. And she said, like, man, but no one's ever asked me, Carol, how are you doing? And she started crying. She started crying right on the phone. And, so I asked her a couple of questions. I asked her, Carol, this is not her real name. I'll just use Carol. I said, Carol, what do you like doing? And she said, oh, I like photography. I like sewing, and I like cooking. Oh, okay, cool. And when's the last time you did sewing? Oh, it's been about a year. What about photography? All the people I want to photograph, my kids, they don't want me to photograph them. And so they're being vampires, so I don't have anyone to photograph. And what about cooking? Well, I cook a lot for other people. And I stopped her there and said, like, hey, that's where it's at. And too often we have this so-called, I should put this, okay, maybe you want to serve so many people. We give. And then share with her, like, hey, you know what? Your container is okay. It's not rusty. It's just that it's empty. We can't give what we don't have. And so I challenged her for the next 4 weeks to go and sew, not for other people, but for herself, start doing photography just for herself, and start just cooking, just for the things that she likes to do. And we're going to meet up again in about 4 weeks to see how those things go. And so the challenge I live with you is that whatever your daily routine is, what are you doing for you? There may be a lot of mothers who will be tuning in on this. I even ask you, as kids are growing, what are you doing for yourself? I grew up in the islands, and so I remember this one time, my mom said, I could have went to perm my hair. So she's got this big Fijian fro, and she's going to perm it. And she said, but I'm not going to do it because I want to sacrifice for you guys and buy you something. And I thought, oh, that's so sweet. But now as I look back, I was like, oh, if I would have done it differently, I'd have said, no, Mom, you take this money and go get your perm or whatever you want to do, okay? As mothers, you deserve it. You can't give what you don't have. I know the old school way is like, hey, we got to sacrifice for our kids, and that's going to be honorable. I'll tell you what's honorable. What's honorable is when you have so much love for yourself that you can give to others without feeling depleted. And so check in on what you're doing on a daily basis. And to the fathers that be listening in, oh man, check in with your wives. Ask them. And so much assuming that, hey, can you think about what I think? Can you read my mind? Oh, there's no mind reading, maybe that's the folklores and everything, but it doesn't exist. And, with all the mind reading. So just ask clearly, hey, how can I best serve you? And I learned that this past week as I'm serving my wife breakfast and everything,
What about, does that go for men? Like, do they need to do some things to take care of themselves too? Oh,
yeah, absolutely. Guys, And then we have this mentality, like, I got it, I'm tough. I can just go and hang out in my man cave. Hey, get out of your man cave, man. Seriously, go hang out with some friends. And I'm going to get a lot of flack for this. That's okay. Spend time on yourself. There's the honor. There's the thought like, oh man, we got to suffer and bring home the bacon for the family. Yeah, well, the hunter's got to need some, rejuvenation too. You can't just go hunt, and expect to bring everything in. No, we got to rest, spend some time on yourself, and it's okay. It's okay. But that communication, with your wife. But if that's not working out well, hey, you use Ho'oponopono. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. Okay. And the best way to do that is keep your lips shut and use it in your mind. And see how long you do this. Maybe during arguments, as soon as the spouse starts talking, we're like just fluttering away. Hey, no. Start using that mantra for as long as you can and watch what happens. Watch what happens.
Awesome. Yeah.
So that's just a few tips I wanted to share there, Julie.
Awesome. Thank you. Something came to my mind while you were telling that, and when there was the pioneers that came, across to settle Utah, there was lots of hardship while they were crossing, and most of the men died. And the reason why is not because they were weaker than the women and the children. It was because they didn't eat. They gave all their food to them. And that's what men do. That's what good men do, because they want to take care of them. But then they died. And then these children and women were weaker than ever and didn't have anyone to help them. And so, we have to take care of you as men, I'm not a man, but, if you don't take care of yourself, your wife and your children are left without you. They won't have you there. If you didn't take care of yourself last week, you wouldn't be able to serve your wife this week when she really, really needs you. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I think it's important on both sides. We need to take care of ourselves so we can serve at a greater capacity and show, show up.
And Julie, I just got prompted with something. Can I share this?
Yes, go ahead.
Someone listening in may need this for whatever reason. I don't know why, but it's coming in, so I'm going to pass this on. For the fellow fathers out there, if you're going to work and doing a lot of hours at work because it's easier than coming home and facing all the flack and what you may call your home drama, I invite you to really look into yourself and just figure out, hey, you know what? Am I working to provide for my family, or am I working because it's easier to be outside of all of that and not face it? And, a tool I suggest you use is the Ho'oponopono. Okay? I use it so many times. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. Because yes, is it honorable to work? Yeah. But there's a certain extent and certain limit. And also the intention, We want to work to provide and support, not to be away from home because the drama is just too much. Like, I just can't handle it. I'm going to go hang out with my friends and clock in, clock out. At least I'm not having all the nagging and whatnot. No. I invite you from one brother to another. Use this tool here. 3 seconds. 3 seconds. Where do I get the 3 seconds from? Well, when you say those 4 words, it takes 3 seconds. That's why.
Yeah, and it just dissipates the fight, right? It takes 2 to fight. It takes that reflective, thing. And
absolutely.
So when you stop that reflection, then there's no fight.
And knowing it's the emotions, because all the negative stuff, those are emotional illusions. But when you get the emotion out of the way, you can see the issue for what it is. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you, Julie.
Awesome. Thank you. Isn't he awesome, guys? He has a lot of cool things to share, and I really, really appreciate that. Okay, so I am going to just share a few things with you also. I'm going to share 3 things that I feel like would be beneficial for the men to know about their women. So the first thing is that it's important to compliment her. Every woman wants to know that her man thinks she is amazingly beautiful. And she needs to be told that she's pretty. Like, use those those words and let her know that she is beautiful and that you love her, how she looks. And I think that every woman wants to know that she pleases her man in her looks. And so she doesn't know that unless you express that. So I think that's like the number one thing. I feel like men sometimes do, sometimes they don't. But number one thing that you can like do that's easy is just to tell her that all the time. My husband, he makes a habit out of when he calls me on the phone, he answers the phone or just says, you know, when I call or when he calls me, hey, beautiful. And so he always says that. Well, that's really sweet and stuff, but I feel like it's also, you know, the next level is also needed of actually using those words of, you know, you're so beautiful, and, you know, giving her those compliments and filling her up with that knowledge that you love her and how she looks. And so is it okay if I'm real with you guys? I had this interesting thing happen. So I recently cut my hair. And my husband, he likes long hair, and I knew this. So before I cut my hair, I told him, I know you like long hair, but I want to cut my hair. I just want to try it out, and I want to, you know, I just want to do this. So just be okay with it, okay? You know, and I you know, prefaced it so that he knew that I wanted to do this and that not to be mad at me. And so I did, and just recently, so it's been cut for about a month and a half or so, and just recently he and I had our marriage mastermind meeting, which is every Sunday night we meet and have a little meeting together, and it's our time when we can be totally open with each other. We go over, you know, the technical stuff of being parents and being running a schedule and all of that kind of stuff, but then we also have time in our meeting where we talk about what we need to feel like we need to talk about with each other, things that we feel are safe in that moment that maybe in other moments would be hard for us to talk to them about. And so we had our marriage mastermind meeting. We have it every week, like every week we have this, and it has made a huge difference in our family. Well, we were having this on Sunday, and he's like, you know, he just kind of brought up, hey, would you mind growing your hair out? and I was like, oh, I was, you know, I was like, well, I wanted to do this because of this, and I told him why, and we talked about it, and I felt like we had cleared it up. But then the next couple of days, I just kept thinking about it, and I was like, I felt bad because I want to please him. I want him to know that he thinks I'm beautiful. And I felt like because he wants me to grow my hair and that it's short right now that I'm not beautiful to him. And so it kept bugging me. And I felt like I needed to talk to him about it. And so in the past, if we were not at this level of being able to communicate with each other, I would have just gone on and not told him and not talked to him about it. Because we were not very good communicators. I felt like it was just easier not to even worry about it. But I am currently learning how to be an awesome communicator, and I'm currently working on it every day to be a better communicator with my husband and with everyone, but particularly with my husband. That is the most important person I feel like I need to communicate with really well. And so, I talked to him about it, and we discussed it, and I told him how I felt, and he was able to express to me that he thinks I'm beautiful, even with short hair or with long hair. It doesn't matter. He just likes long hair, and anyway, so it was helpful to me to know that, and so. Tell your wife that. Make sure she knows, because it was hard for me to not feel like I was beautiful to my husband because of my hair. It's like the little what's it called, Little Women, when she cuts her hair. You're one beauty, right? Okay. So that's my first tip. And I feel like it goes both ways. Like, you compliment your wife and compliment your husband. Like, make sure you are open in that complimenting each other, so that you both know that you're fully loved and accepted in every way, not just the beauty, but looks, but in every way. Make sure that you praise them. And that's another part of the mastermind meeting that I love, is I incorporate that part into the mastermind meeting of praise and loving, showing that love for each other. So, good thing you have. Oh, thanks, Alana. Okay. So the second tip is that one of the things that I feel like women really, really want is to be recognized for what they do, all the efforts they do. I don't know if you have like the traditional home where, the wife usually does the cooking and the cleaning and all of that kind of stuff. That's how our home is. And so all that stuff is really pretty thankless. And, going to a job and working can also be very thankless too. So we both need to be recognized for that, those efforts that we put in, right? That it's not easy to do those things. And when we validate somebody and tell them, thank you for putting that effort in. If I don't feel like the work that I've done is that, wanted, I'm like, well, I don't even want to do it, like, I don't want to cook dinner if nobody likes it or nobody wants it, or, it just doesn't make it worth it, because really as a mom, we want to do these things because we love them and want them to accept them. But if they're not accepting them and sharing that with you, then it makes it really, really a hard job. And so thanking for the cleaning of the dishes, and be specific. So I've been doing this with my kids too, being specific on when you thank them for doing something, don't just thank them for being awesome. That's good, but when you thank them for specifics, like, thank you for folding the laundry, or thank you for putting away your clothes, or whatever it is, thank you for making dinner, those kinds of things are so powerful. It makes them want to do it again, because they want to have that feedback that they know that what they are doing is helpful, right? When I first got married, I did not know how to cook at all. I don't really like cooking anyway. And so when I was growing up, I always got out of cooking somehow. I would volunteer to clean up dinner so that I didn't have to cook, because I did not like it. And so I didn't know how to cook when I got married. And I was like, okay, I'm a wife, I cook now. And so I started making these dinners, trying to follow these recipes I didn't know how to follow. And I made stuff, and my poor husband would like try to eat these things, and he's like, like, wasn't very edible. And it was really hard for him not to hurt my feelings. And well, a few times he said stuff like, well, maybe we shouldn't try that one again, and stuff like that. And he was really sweet about it, but I didn't know how to cook, and I didn't know how to follow recipes. And so I felt really discouraged, because I felt like I was putting this effort in and it wasn't being accepted, right? We finally figured things out, and I learned how to cook, and now he thinks I'm an amazing cook, and he loves everything that I think he loves everything. He doesn't ever say he doesn't. But I think he likes everything I cook. Anyway, I feel like that when you help somebody understand that what they did for you was taken in gratitude, then it makes the work worth it. So make that effort to thank every day, or at least once a week. Like, recognize them for that. It's like at work. If you are at work and you're never recognized for the effort you put in, it makes it really difficult to enjoy being there. Everyone needs to be recognized for the effort that they put forth. And when you recognize them, they do more awesome. So if your spouse, this is a little like around the way of helping your spouse do something better, if there's like, you're not very good at this, but you really want them to, you can do this. It's kind of tricky, right? But it's a good way of being tricky. So say they do that, or they did it halfway even. Say that the house is a big mess, but they cleaned up part of it. Really pour on the praise and thank them. Oh my goodness, this looks so amazing. Thank you so much. Or if they never cooked dinner and like one day of that week they did it, just pour on the praise and just love it. Like that you are so thankful for it. And then watch how they'll start doing it more. But you have to keep that up or else it doesn't work just once. Like you have to keep pouring on that praise and then like, okay, I like this, I want that. And so they'll keep doing it. It works for your kids too. So it's an awesome way to help people learn how to do something they don't necessarily want to do or like. It helps them learn to like it. It teaches them to like it. Just like when you're training a dog and you want them to sit. Well, every time they sit, every time they do what you ask, you praise them and you give them treats and you really tell them, it's enjoyable to do this. When I tell you to do that, it's enjoyable. That's the same thing. We're just dog training our family. we it's the good way though. It's not like we are forcing him. Nope, we're not. We're not being mean to him. It is very a positive way to help encourage your family to do the things that are the best, right? Okay, the second, or the third, number 3, is the third tip is to romance her. Every woman wants to be romanced. And some ideas for you is to, while she's doing the dishes or whatever, grab a hold of it and start doing it for her, or just grab a hold of her and start dancing with her. It doesn't matter if you guys both don't know how to dance. Every woman likes to dance, even if it's just, a little sway kind of thing. Like it could be just you're hugging and you're just rocking back and forth to the music or whatever it is, like something really simple. Or if you are dancers, then, all out dance, that would be awesome. I think that is a really good way to connect with each other. And that is much more fun than doing dishes, right? And so just showing that love of romancing her often, all the time, needs to be done all the time. It keeps that spark. When you're dating and you're just like, you have this, excitement and passion for your spouse, guess what? You know how they say, oh, that's a chemical reaction and it dies off. It's not true. You can reignite that and feel those same feelings that you felt when you were dating. I know this because I've done it. I'm still Twitter-pated over my husband. Again, because we did fizzle out because I didn't know how to keep that going. But now that we're better at that, I get butterflies when I see him. He works at home. I see him all the time, and I don't get sick of him because we do these things to help keep that romance alive. Dancing, looking into each other's eyes and really connecting your souls together and just, gazing into each other's eyes, touching their face, showing that affection in those little ways. And just helping each other know that they are important to you. Taking those steps. Alana says that doing the dishes for her is the most romantic turn on. Total turn on. Awesome. Good tip, Ilana. It might be TMI. No, just kidding. Okay. Okay, so I just want to reiterate what I talked about. I talked about first, make sure you're always complimenting what you love about them. Make sure that your wife knows that she's beautiful. And then number 2 is recognize them for the efforts that they put in. Thank them. Say thank you. And number 3 is to romance. Really take some time to romance each other. That will really bring the spark back into your relationship and keep it there. Like, it's not something that will just die off again. Unless if you keep doing these things, it will stay and it will grow, right? And is anybody else have done this and have experience and can back me up on this? I would love to hear, because I know it's true for me, but I'm like, is it working for anybody else? Anybody else done these things? Isaki, have you?
Yes, I've done the dishes.
You've done the dishes. Good job.
Best husband ever.
Yeah. Awesome. So, has that does it help you with the romance of getting that back?
I'll tell you this. I love dishes. I'm kind of selfish on it because I use it as my own meditation. And as I'm doing dishes, I think about lesson plans and what to teach. That's kind of like my source of inspiration.
Oh,
and
cool.
my wife, she doesn't like doing dishes, and she's like, "Oh man, thank you, babe." I'm like, "Yeah, sure." I get to meditate, and my wife gets to love on me better.
That's awesome. That's really cool. Good job. Okay. Asake, is there anything that you would like to offer the group? Is there any programs that you have that you would like to tell them about right now?
Yeah, let me get back on here. Okay, yes. First of all, I just want to thank Julie for this opportunity to come in and share with you. Thank you so much, Julie. And I appreciate everyone that's in attendance. What I'm offering here is what I call the Roots online course. It's 4 weeks. And what this is, right now I have clients paying anywhere from $2,000 to $6,000 to work with them for a couple of weeks. And I spend about 30 minutes on them with a call, explaining with them different things. With the Roots, I've just focused on just taking the meat out, put them on in videos, and put them up in an online course. And that's why it's called Roots. And with this, a few things I'm sharing with you here. Week 1, we talk about the creation blueprint, simple steps or process on helping you create or get what you want. Week 2, we talk about the guard gate principle. And you understand why resistance happens as soon as you set a goal. Why does all this resistance happen, and how to get past that? Week 3, we talk about the fluid roadmap, and learning to be clear in what you want so that you can accelerate faster towards your goals. And week 4, I talk about the 3 peaks. So balancing 3 key aspects to help you, ensure that not only is your success achievable, but that it's sustained consistently over the long run. And so short videos, all meet, so it's going to be short. Expect it to be short, but it's all just the gist of everything I share with the clients I'm currently working with. The Roots 4 weeks online course, you get a video a week, and normal price for that is $297. I'm offering it here for the team for $97.
That's awesome.
If that's something you're interested in, just email me, isaki@gritset.com. So that's GRITSET.com.
GRITSET.com.
Yep.
Okay. And then how do you spell your name?
AISAKE.
Okay. Awesome. Cool. That sounds amazing. And how long is that good for?
Oh. How long is that good for? As in, how long will this be available?
Yeah, for that price.
For that price. Oh, I'm just going to give it 48 hours.
48 hours. Okay.
48 hours, yep.
So Friday.
Yep, till Friday.
Okay. Awesome. Sounds great.
Thank you.
All right. So I want to give you guys, so I a little bit alluded to the, sorry. Okay. So I a little bit alluded to the mastermind that I do every week. And I created this little printable that I will give you. It's part of this little course that I have, but I'm going to give you that one piece of it for free for being on this webinar with me. And you can print that off and use it to help you start having your own meetings, because I feel like these are super important. I teach them all the time. In fact, I'm teaching them next week at a conference, and it would be awesome if you came. But anyway, I'm excited to teach those things. So that will be given to you for being on this webinar. And I will email that with the recording. But I also want to tell you that I have a little 4-week course that is actually focused on marriage, and it's called Becoming One. And it is 4 weeks, 4 videos with coursework, like, little homework stuff printable that you can print out and, do the homework with your spouse. And it will help you grow closer together so that you will, your relationship will really be strengthened, because our goal isn't to be separate individuals, but becoming one strong couple, right? And when you're a strong couple, you can go so much further with your life. If you have a business, your businesses will really excel faster when you have both of you going towards the same goals. And so I want to offer this program for you. It's normally $47, and I am going to give it to you for 48 hours. We'll do the same, time frame for $39. And it's totally worth it. It's really worth way more, but I priced it out because I want every single couple to have this program, because I feel like it can be a game changer and really take your relationship to the next level. Even if it's awesome, it can be more awesome. Trust me. My relationship just gets better all the time because I do these things, and we're constantly learning and growing together, and it's just getting better and better. And even my family has told me that they've noticed the difference in our relationship and have commented on how awesome that is. So I know it's just not me feeling like it's getting better. It is getting better. So I know that these things work. So if you want that, then I will put a link in the email that you can, and I'll put Asake's email too. So if you want to do his program, then you can email him. I'll put that in there, and then you can email us and let us know if you want to participate in those programs. So anyway, you guys are amazing. I love you guys, and that is the end. Is there any questions that you guys want to ask before we end? I forgot to ask that. Sorry, guys. Do you guys have any questions that you want to ask either one of us? You can unmute yourself, or you can type it in. All right. I think that maybe there's not. So, so we'll go ahead and end. Thank you guys so much for spending the time to be on here. I hope that it was beneficial to you. And thank you so much for what you shared, Asake. That was amazing. So you guys are amazing. I love you. Have an amazing night. Bye, guys.